A very good evening. Welcome to the program. It is exactly 8:57 p.m. East African time, and you are just on time for Lookup News. I am Nelima, and our sign language interpreter for tonight is Josephine Oko. We have lots of stories that we have been working around the clock just to make sure that we bring you up to speed with what's trending across our 47 counties. Before we get into any of it, here are our top stories.
Unfortunately, we lost 3 passengers and the driver of the vehicle.
Tonight on Lookup News, 3 people dead while 6 others injured in a road accident along the Nakuru-Narok highway. Nyamakima traders stage a protest over China Square operation. The infotruck poll. 62% of Kenyans believe the country is headed in a wrong direction. And CS Ndungu of Treasury ranked the tail, while Owalo's led ICT docket tops the lists.
Welcome to the broadcast. Do let us know where you're watching us from. This live broadcast is coming to you across all our social media platforms, where we are at Lookuptv on Twitter, Lookuptv on Facebook, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. Let's begin. 3 people have died while 6 others sustained serious injuries after matatu they were traveling in veered off the road at NI Belbel along the busy Narok-Nakuru highway. Ian Keitane with more on that story.
Confirming the incident, Narok Central Police Commander John Momanyi indicated that the accident occurred today morning, the matatu losing control after 2 back tires burst before rolling several times. Among those who lost their lives is the driver who also owns the matatu.
There was an accident that occurred along Narok-Nakuru Road this morning that involved a matatu vehicle, which unfortunately we lost 3 passengers and the driver of the vehicle. 6 injuries, whereby 3 people were seriously injured and the other 3 were slightly injured.
Momanyi is now cautioning drivers plying the route, urging them to be vigilant on the road and follow traffic rules, insisting that owners must ensure their vehicles are serviced.
And I want to take this opportunity to caution our drivers that they must ensure that they observe safety rules. Equally to the owners of the vehicles, they must ensure that their vehicles are properly serviced so that we can avoid some of these unfortunate incidences.
The police commander also ordered traffic officers to be vigilant and make sure all unroadworthy vehicles are not allowed on the roads and their owners are arrested.
The police will take our required responsibility of ensuring that all those unroadworthy vehicles are removed from the road.
The bodies of the deceased were taken to Narok Referral Hospital, with those injured receiving treatment at the facility. Ian Keitane, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Keitani, for that story. Now back to Nairobi. Traders brought the city to a standstill when they held a protest march in the CBD over what they termed as the Chinese traders' invasion in the country, which is killing their businesses. The protest comes days after the Chinese retail shop China Square was closed down following a standstill between the management and trade CS Moses Kuria.
A protest that brought together small-scale business people in Nairobi. They marched the streets of the city center seeking an audience with the government officials. Their destination, the doorsteps of Harambee Annex. All this to protest what they termed as an influx of Chinese business people, whom they say are hurting their business.
Watunyamazishe, tena tukienda miaka kadhaa waende kwa mabenki wamalize, watoke hapo waende Gikoba wamalize, waende Kamukonji wamalize. Itakuwa wewe na mtoto wako vile umetengeneza biashara yako leo, kesho utaanza kuomba kazi kwa Mchina. Mtakubali?
The traders drawn from Nyamakima, Gikomba, Dubois and Kamukunji claim that the Chinese have taken over their businesses, saying it is unhealthy competition. The angry traders put blame on China Square, a business run by a Chinese investor Lei Shang, along Thika Road for unhealthy business competition. Taking their grievances to the office of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, the crowd demanded an audience with the government officials to table their dissatisfaction with how the Chinese citizens have been allowed to do business in the country to the detriment of their own businesses.
Sisi wenyewe tutachukua sheria mikononi yetu. Tuendeni moja kwa moja mpaka Harambee Annex, tutaongozwa na Julius, mumufuate, tupeane matakwa yetu. Asanteni.
The protests come at a time when Trade CS Moses Kuria announced that he would buy off the Chinese retailer and have him open a manufacturing plant as opposed to a retail shop. The move led to the closure of the Chinese Square indefinitely. Sheng maintains that his business model is friendly and affordable to Kenyans, and as a result, customers find his store convenient to their budget. The Chinese store has been running since January 29th. Brian Amoy, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Let's now take a look at the state of the nation. 62% of Kenyans have lost faith in the Kenya Kwanza government, with many expressing dissatisfaction with the ever-rising cost of living. 22% of Kenyans have, however, expressed confidence in the Ruto-led government. The research conducted by Infotruck Research Company has revealed that the government has, to a larger extent, failed to implement its promises they made during campaigns.
The findings by the Infotruck has revealed that only 22% of Kenyans are satisfied with how President William Ruto's led Kenya Kwanza government is being run.
22% say the country is peaceful, with a 16% tie of Kenyans who believe that we're living in harmony. Then the executive, that is the presidency and his cabinet, working well, that's 16%. A double-digit number was attributed to the cost of living that is perceived to be affordable, amongst a 10%.
Implementation of Hustler Fund, employment of teachers and digitization of government services are among the cardinal factors that the 22% of Kenyans used to express hope that the country is headed to the right trajectory.
Employment of teachers and Hustler Fund, though the numbers are very insignificant because it's a 2%. Also, there's also mention of an improved healthcare and a 5% that said the president is God-fearing.
However, according to the poll, a whopping 62% of Kenyans are pessimistic that the rising cost of living, drought and poverty are some factors that indicate the country is not being led accordingly. 62%
who said the country is headed in the wrong direction. What are some of the reasons that they gave? 73% mentioned high cost of living, followed by high taxation or high taxes imposed on people at 5%, unemployment at 5%, poor governance and bad politics 4% and 3%, but of course also mentioned, though insignificant numbers, of between 1% is drought, poverty, rampant corruption, and unequal distribution of jobs.
While referring to help loans for students in higher learning institutions, 6% of Kenyans want the issue addressed, with 4% demanding for equal distribution of resources in the country.
19% want agriculture to be addressed, insecurity and poverty reduction tied at 14%. Then access to clean water mentioned by 13%. Cost of doing business, 12%. Transport and road and infrastructure, 12%. Another two that had double digit of 11% each was access to healthcare services and corruption.
15% of Kenyans have, however, failed to rank the country's growth. It is a research that was conducted in consideration of promises issued by the Kenya Kwanza government during the campaign period. Samiadika, Lookuptv.
Moving on, the National Treasury, Energy and Petroleum has scored an E, while Information, Communication and Transport Ministry tops the list, releasing the results of Infotruck. Senior Field Operations Manager Jovin Wanyingo ranked Kithure Kindiki among the top performers. Phoebe Wangombe now reports.
Infotruck has released a glaring poll ranking President Ruto's cabinet secretaries in their first 100 days in office. According to the findings, the worst performing cabinet secretaries are CS Mining Blue Economy Salim Mvurya, CS Environment and Forest Soipan Tuya, and CS East Africa Community Regional Development Rebecca Miano, also being listed at the tail when it comes to performance.
The list ranked were Salim Mvurya of Blue Economy and Mining, Florence Bore, Rebecca Miano, and Soipan Tuya.
On the other hand, the best-ranked performing cabinet secretaries are Professor Kithure Kindiki, CS Interior, who is currently facing the bandits head-on, CS Ezekiel Machogu, who is barraged with the implementation of CBC and junior secondary rollout, CS Youth Affairs Sports Ababu Namwamba, CS Health Susan Nahumincha, Mithika Linturi, CS Agriculture, Alfred Mutua, CS Foreign Affairs, Kipchumba Murkomen, CS Transport, and Moses Kuria, CS Trade, Investment and Industrialization.
The first-ranked cabinet secretary with perceived performance is Professor Kindiki Kithure, followed by Ezekiel Machogu. Number 3 is Ababu Namwamba. Number 4 is Susan Wafula. There's a tie of number 4, both Mithika Linturi for agriculture, and number 5 is Alfred Mutua of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs.
They also noted that the worst performing ministries so far are Ministry of National Treasury and the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum, while the best performing are Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology, followed by Ministry of Roads and Transport.
If we look at the least performing ministries who have scored an E, there are 2. At position 22 would be National Treasury and Economic Planning, which scored 35%, and Ministry of Energy and Petroleum, 35%. So it's a tie between the 2 ministries. Those ministries that have stand out, we can report of 2 ministries that have a score above 50%, and in aggregate we've given them a score of C plain, and these are Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy at 54%, Ministry of Roads and Transport at 50%.
Phoebe Wangombe, Lookuptv.
And away from that, the Kenya Revenue Authority has suspended all tax relief payments until further notice in a move aimed at selling revenue leakages days after a radical surgery at the authority. In a statement, KRA said the decision was reached in a consultation with the National Treasury to enhance ongoing process related to the payment of tax refunds, exemptions and waivers and abandonments. Environment and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya has presided over the banning of 13 tons of sandalwood in a sustained war against the illegal sale of the endangered tree species. In a ceremony graced by U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Whitman, is a testament that the government of Kenya is determined to end illegal logging and sale of sandalwood in concerted efforts to protect the environment.
Crime scene personnel, kindly.
At roughly past 4 p.m. on Tuesday, Environment and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya, in company of DCI Director Ibrahim Amin and top brass leaders from Forest Service, officially set on fire 13.5 tons of sandalwood. The destruction of this heap of sandalwood, a clear indication that the government of Kenya is committed to curtailing illegal trafficking of the endangered wood in a spirited effort to preserve the environment.
Today's public banning of 13.5 tons of sandalwood seized from the arrest in Samburu East in Wamba area indicates a commitment by the multi-stakeholder team consisting of the Kenya Forest Service, the DCI, the judiciary, the county government of Samburu, local communities, the office of the DPP, and other players like the Kenya Wildlife Service, is as a very strong and welcome stand against the destruction of forests through illegal sandalwood harvesting in our community forests.
Like many environmental crime networks, the sandalwood trafficking network is elaborate and expansive and often elusive. But the group of partners gathered here today is fighting back by enhancing surveillance, information sharing, and collaboration with local communities to end sandalwood trafficking in Kenya and the region.
Sandalwood logging and selling is illegal in Kenya. According to DCI boss Ibrahim Amin, the war against this illegal trade is frustrated because in some neighboring countries, such activities are legally permitted.
And the lack of uniformity in regional regulations is unfortunate, a key enabler of trafficking in East Africa. The sandalwood trade may be banned in Kenya, but just over the border, a licensed Ugandan factory that semi-processes the wood is a convenient way to make the illegal harvest disappear.
Sandalwood is highly valued, especially in international market. Amin Mohammed implicating some senior forest officers in the crime.
It is even more unfortunate that some of the manpower deployed by the government to protect and enforce the laws pertaining to forestry form part of the key players in what we are calling the underworld.
The consignment that was destroyed today is worth 54 million. CS Tuya insisting the government of President William Ruto is committed to ending the illegal trade in a bid to conserve the environment. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Tende, for that report. That story takes us to a very fast break here on the program. But don't go too far, since on the other side we have a lot, including the anticipatory as we're waiting for the International Women's Day.
Welcome to the Golden Marriage Show.
Somebody said when you see a man and a woman driving in a car and they are talking and smiling,
That's not the wife.
No, that's not the wife.
This is the time when my wife was heavily pregnant.
These people have been in marriage for 28 years without a child.
If a problem has come, let us come out and see how are we going to solve this problem.
I said in my marriage, mke wangu hataona mangumi na makofi na mateke.
Muda hii yote tumekaa kweli 45 years, hajawahi kunichapa.
Mwezi huu wa mapenzi, spread the love na Lotto Valentine's Double Double. Jishindie pesa taslim guaranteed kati ya shilingi 200,000 na shilingi 1,000,000 ndani ya daily draw, na mpenzi wako wa Valentine's atapata pesa kama hizo. Hii Valentine's prizes ni kibao. Kuna 10 fully paid couples holidays kila wiki kwenda Mombasa, Diani, Mount Kenya, Masai Mara na Naivasha. Sambaza upendo na Lotto na ujishindie hadi shilingi milioni 100 ndani ya mega jackpot. Changamka, cheza Lotto. Tuma kati ya shilingi 50 na shilingi 1,000 kwa paybill number 77700, account name Luke. Changamka, cheza Lotto Valentine's Double Double.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Utachagua sura au tabia unapotaka kumchumbia mwanamke?
Anaweza kuwa mrembo lakini hana tabia.
Naweza jifanya ndio hata kama hapa sitapata, nipate kwa tabia.
Ukweli wa mambo ni kwamba wanaume wengi, hata wale ambao wanatutazama wakati huu, ni sura inawavutia mara ya kwanza.
Ukiona mwanaume anasema ule dem ako poa, ule dem, hafikirii future na huyo dem. Huyo mwenye ako poa anapendeza, anakaa vizuri,
wacha kutudanganya.
Wajua waweza kuwa na tabia nzuri lakini ikabadilishwa na hali. Kanisani wanja ndugu yangu waimba kwaya, wakishuka wakipanga masika na hao ndugu hawachukui.
Lazima nikae na wewe kwa muda fulani. Nikusome, nikujue kindani sana.
Kuna uchunguzi wa aina mbili ndugu yangu, kuna uchunguzi wa polisi na wa CID. Kama kuna mtu ambaye ana ujuzi wa hali ya juu ya kujifanya na kukusoma akili yako na kukufanya wewe uamini kile unachotaka kutoka kwake, ni mwanamke.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Thank you so much for staying with the program. The hashtag is LookUpNews. Let's now head over to the Parliament, where the supplementary budget report has been tabled before the National Assembly. The budget is tabled by the Finance Committee Chair Ndindi Nyoro, recommends an increment of recurrent expenditures such as subsidy and salary to 93.6 billion. The report also recommends the reduction of capital expenditure to 84.2 trillion.
As well as makes general comments on the proposals contained in the memoranda by his
Mr. Speaker, I want to implore upon this House. There is a critical decision that we have to make. There are bodies in Kenya called RDAs. These are regional development authorities. And we know them, they serve our areas. Mr. Speaker, when these bodies were conceptualized, we didn't have devolution. Mr. Speaker, also, we did have waterworks agencies. You find an agency with recurrent expenditure of 240 million, but their development expenditure is only 20 million a year. Mr. Speaker, we cannot continue to make these kind of mistakes in regards to making our budget. We have to make a radical decision as a country that we cannot continue having institutions gobbling 300 million in terms of annual recurrent expenditure, and then this House appropriates or gives them 20 million for development.
And Samburu and Marsabit County students have benefited from 10 million shillings livestock offtake program for school fees and food due to drought. Gladys Masharia tells us more.
Students drawn from the Samburu and Marsabit counties have over the past been left behind in matters of education due to the effects of drought in those Asal areas. An offtake program has been initiated by the Kenya Dryland Education Fund to cater for school fees and food to schools. Ahmed Kura, CEO of the Kenya Dryland Education Fund, said that he has decided to come and ensure that the children go to school, and due to drought, many livestock has lost market, and they have decided to buy livestock from pastoral communities and take them to school as food and fees, as many parents are frustrated. He went on and appealed to the government and other organizations to come and support the pastoral communities in education, as it is the most potential in life.
Tuliamua tukuje tusaidie watu wetu kuhakikisha kuwa kwamba hakuna mwanafunzi anafukuzwa shule.
The situation in Samburu North and northern Kenya in general is very dire.
2,100 high school students are the ones being targeted at a cost of 10 million in the areas of Nachola, Ndoto, Nyiro, Kagi, Loyangalani, Baragoi, Karare, Logologo, Laisamis, Nguronit and Maralal.
Elimu ndio suluhisho ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba jamii wa wafugaji hawatarudi mali wako sasa. Elimu ndio suluhisho ya kuleta amani kwa watu wetu.
I'm grateful for this help because this persistent drought has made most of the children to drop out from school because they are unable to pay for their school fees.
Kama mimi tumaliza kwa shule, mifugo ambayo tulikuwa tunategemea zimekufa. Kwa sasa hatutegemei kila kitu na tunataka kusoma.
Samburu North MP Elile Tipila, Nachola MCA Ward Lawrence Lorunyei, Ndoto Ward MCA Ali Leal Musia, Nachola Day Mixed Secondary School Principal Rosalie Nawang, and one of the students in the school, Alfred Modok, all thanked the Kenya Dryland Education Fund for the support and added that the food and fees provided will help sustain the children during this hard time. Gladys Masharia, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Gladys, for that report. Now, women caucuses have held a cut-and-razor event in the run-up to International Women's Day, aimed at launching a one-month campaign to end cyberbullying against women. This is in line with this year's theme, dubbed Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. The forum was attended by stakeholders, including the COG Chair Governor Anne Waiguru, who called for a joint support in the continued fight against cyberbullying.
In Kenya, women leaders have been particularly vulnerable to cyberbullying, which can take many forms, including harassment, intimidation, and threats of violence.
There are still enough people out there who want to limit the access of women to new technology, who want to use the innovation for the preservation of their own influence and position. And that, of course, mostly are men.
Internet has provided a platform for individuals to anonymously attack, insult, and harass others with ease. I have personally been the target of numerous hurtful and offensive comments on social media.
I'm hopeful that this conference today can make a valuable contribution to these very timely questions and problems, and Germany, through the Hans Seidel Foundation, is proud to be part of these discussions. Under our new government, we've introduced a feminist foreign policy.
In the run-up to International Women's Day slated for 8th of March, women caucuses have launched a campaign dubbed Stop Cyberbullying Now to end online violence meted on women so as to create a safe space for women to flourish in various areas of interest through technology. Gladys Masharia, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Thank you, Masharia, for that story. Now, contractors in Kisii have given Governor Simba Arati a 7-day ultimatum to pay them or they will down their tools. These and other stories on our news wrap with Abigail Shearer.
Kisii Governor Simba Arati is a man under siege for not honoring his promises to settle contractors' due. Local contractors in Kisii cannot stop pointing fingers in anger as the promise is yet to be fulfilled. Speaking in Kisii, the contractor leaders have given Governor Simba Arati 1-week ultimatum to fulfill his promise.
Please, we have given you 1 week, as we have said. If you don't pay us, we are coming for you at the stadium.
We are very much surprised by the undertaking of the Kisii County Governor, one Paul Simba Arati. Simba came, he campaigned on a platform of coming to help the people of Kisii. But to our surprise, Simba has been a problem to the people of Kisii, especially the contractors, the people that I lead. He has not been able, neither has he been able to pay any contractor. But sad enough, he has received this money. He has received 1.3 billion development money.
I and the chairman of contractors signed an MOU before elections that the coming governor, who is now the governor, Paul Simba Arati, should pay us as contractors our pending bills, issue contracts to our members. But up to date, unfortunately, the governor has done none of those things. As contractors, and as a person who signed that MOU, I'm concerned that the governor has withdrawn 3.9 billion shillings, and he has spent all that money on recurrent expenditure without paying contractors. And according to the law, when you withdraw money from the exchequer, 2/3 should go to recurrent, 1/3 should go to development. We want to ask him today, where did you take our money?
Elsewhere in Isiolo, Somali Community Grazing Committee are appealing to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior Security to intervene as bandits stole their cattle and killed 300 on Friday night.
Mali yetu kila siku inashukuliwa, kuna mahali imeingia, watu narudi. Saa hii kutoka 2022, wacha story ya nyuma, gamia zimeenda zaidi ya 400 karibu 500. Umbuzi ni zaidi ya hiyo, ng'ombe zaidi ya hiyo, bunda zaidi ya hiyo. Lakini watu wetu wale ile iko na dhamana wanataja ni gamia. Umbuzi ni kama wameacha, ng'ombe kama wameacha. So tunataka tunaongea na serikali tukiwa hapa. Hatuongei na mtu yoyote, tunaongea na serikali. Nataka serikali atusikie malio yetu.
Tukule ngama alikuwa kwa hapo, waliiba ngamia 29. Baada ya kukaa siku mbili, ngamia 15 hiyo mzee ikaenda. Baada ya kukaa namna hiyo, ngamia 34 ikaenda. Siku ambaye vita inatendeka, ambaye kesho yake vita inatendeka, waliingilia ngamia wakabeba. Hiyo ngamia nusu ikaangushwa, 17 ikaenda. Asubuhi wakakuja na force. Wakachukua, watu wakaanza kupigana hapo, wakachukua mbuzi 350, ngamia 26, mambo ikatendeka hivyo, watu wakakufa namna hiyo. Ile watu tumechagua kuanzia MP, women rep, senator, governor, hakuna mmoja anatupigania. Tunasema ukweli kabisa. Na sisi tumechagua hawa watupiganie, watutafutie haki yetu, wasitupatie haki ya mtu mwingine.
Elsewhere in Nyandarua County, sawmillers are in distress as the rates of transportation of timber have been set to unaffordable prices.
Kama itaendelea hivi vile imetangazwa juu ya license na sales, inaonekana wengi wetu watatoka ndani ya Nyandarua tukafanyie kazi nje ya Nyandarua. Juu kaunti zingine kama Rift Valley na Murang'a na Kiambu, ukiangalia revenue zao siko chini kushinda za hapa.
And it is a relief for 200,000 people living with disability in Machakos County after receiving new generation disability cards from the National County for Persons with Disability.
We had a meeting with the governor, who also really actively participated with us in organizing this small function while we are giving out the assistive devices, and also partnering with our more important issue of registration. Registering persons with disability has been a problem and a painful to them. It has been so long process before, but right now we have managed to work with all the stakeholders to bring the signature of Director of Medical Services to the county levels across the country. So in Machakos today, we came to really cement that partnership, that all registration now should be done at all level 4, level 3, and level 4 and level 3 hospitals.
Governor Wavinya Nditi, who was present during this exercise, promised to cater for their 50% NHIF payment as she called upon the national government to cover the remaining half.
What we need to do, me and my DG and my government, we will do to make sure that we take care of them. You hear the law says they should not pay. Why are they paying? They shouldn't pay. Kwa sababu wengine wanawaficha. Na mimi nimesema Machakos sitaki mtoto wangu afichwe. We need to work in an organized manner.
Abigail Shira, Lookuptv.
Let's now get sporty. Football Kenya Federation unveiled MozartBet, the leading online gaming firm, as their official partners. The federation has signed a 3-year deal worth 60 million shillings.